Hi, I'm Patrick Giguère with Cosmic Alchemist Astrology, and welcome to this video. So today is October the 6th, 2021, or I should say tonight, and this is the day of the new moon in Virgo. So FYI, I do Vedic astrology. It's an older system. It's actually a different zodiac. So if the sign placements and the degrees of the planets sound like they're wrong, it's because I'm using a different zodiac. There's a 23-degree difference between this system and the mainstream Western tropical astrology. So this is sidereal visible sky astrology. So we're going to talk about the new moon. Before we get into it, thanks to everybody who subscribes to this channel, who shares the videos, likes the videos, comments on the videos. It's a big help. It provides a lot of encouragement because I'm still new to this. I've only been producing videos, making videos for a few years now, and I'm still feeling it out. So I appreciate the encouragement, and I appreciate the help to the channel. So anyway, let's get down to the point here. This is a big new moon, and new moons are all about manifestation. They're all about the birth of things. A lot of people in the mainstream of astrology will tell you that full moons are all about manifestation and birthing things, but I very much disagree. The new moon is the darkening of the moon, and you know, as humans, or all animals are conceived in a womb, and you know, where the biological materials come together and that conception takes place. So there's no spotlight on in a womb. It's a dark place. This is why the color black is for the yin energy in the whole Taoist Chinese world. This is why Egypt was the black land. The old name was Kemet, it meant the black land. So yeah, the color black is this yin energy where things are born. So basically, nature supports this idea that new moons are about conception, birth, manifestation. Full moons are more about cleansing and more about cleaning things out, because a new moon is a very solar phenomenon. It's when the full light of the sun shines on the moon without any shadow from the earth. And people go a little nuts on the full moon. They get anxious, they get antsy, they get angry. They get extremely emotional because the moon and the mind are analogs for one another. The moon is just a micro version of the mind, so it makes us deal with all of our emotions during a full moon. So that's, you talk to cops, EMTs, paramedics, people who work in the emergency department in the hospital, they'll all tell you there's more accidents, there's more domestic violence, all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, new moon, manifestation, birth, conception. So this is a big one. This is, I've been calling this the angry new moon. And I think this is going to be the birth of basically a popular rebellion around the world. People are getting angry about what's going on with everything that has to do with Virgo. So Virgo deals with health, healing, disease, illness, medicines, cures, you name it. It deals with healthcare providers, medical people, deals with the public health establishment, deals with the medical science establishment. And for America, Virgo's a sign of government because it's in the 10th house. It's the house of government, so it deals with government, the whole, and again, the public health establishment. So people around the world are very angry about what's coming out of all these institutions and these parts of life that have to do with Virgo. Another thing Virgo can deal with, I almost forgot, is the drug companies, aka the drug dealers, who want to sell as much of their drugs as possible, including experimental injectables that get injected into the shoulder. So people are really angry about this. And the long and short of how it all works is the drug dealers, the drug manufacturers, they are, if not the biggest, one of the biggest contributors to political campaigns, to media, for-profit media and non-profit media. So they're either advertising or they're making charitable donations, which is also advertising, because NPR, for example, as ads now. And these drug companies actually pump monies into universities. They make charitable donations to these universities who are training people to then come work for them. So they are trying to sell as many of these injectables as possible, and because they give government and politicians the money they need to operate, they can tell them how to do this. So all these mandates, all these unlawful, illegal mandates that are coming through politicians aren't making the shit up. It's coming from the drug companies who are their benefactors. So, you know, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's very simple business. If you have a monopoly, you do whatever it takes to maintain that monopoly and keep people buying your stuff. It's not very tinfoil hat. It's very common sense. And people don't owe you the truth just because you went to college, you have a career, your mommy, daddy, grandma, grandpa fought in World War II. None of that shit matters. So yeah, these people have really been turning our lives upside down and our world upside down and crippling the economy. So people are very angry about this, and you know, the righteous anger of good people is going to come out and basically cause all the shit to backfire on these people. So yeah, this new moon, all about manifestation, birth, conception, this is where the popular rebellion around the world is going to get some traction. More and more people, day by day, they're going to find their balls, they're going to find their dignity, they're going to find their courage. We've been conditioned in this world of political correctness and being, having to walk on eggshells because people easily get offended, and you know, certain people have to feel guilty and have to apologize to everybody. You know, certain ethnic groups and races of people have to apologize to everybody that they come across who is from a group that, you know, was oppressed once upon a time. All of this indoctrination has made us all spineless. So we're having to find our spines again. And these people in power, these people who puppeteer government and public health, they're pushing people slowly to grow a spine, to find their balls, and to push back. So that's what I see coming out of this new moon. So you've got the rebellion of the people, but then, you know, the empire will try to strike back too, and you know, the ruling elites, you know, so I'm talking people who control the banks, control the drug companies, control the big industries. They're going to get some shit in their pants. They're going to get angry with the people because the people don't want to kiss their asses and, you know, do everything they say because they're so intelligent and they went to Ivy League schools and they're so wealthy and they're so intellectual. They're gonna be angry about that. They're completely out of touch and they think people just want to get bossed around by them. And because people don't want to kiss their asses. But, you know, too fucking bad. So, why anger with this new moon? We know why people are angry, but why is the astrology indicating this? So, this new moon at 19 degrees of Virgo, so new moons are a conjunction between sun and moon. 19 degrees of Virgo, today Mars was also at 19 degrees of Virgo. So, Mars brings the energy, aggressiveness, vitality, will to dominate, conquer, will to fight, will to build. Mars brings all this energy to this new moon. So again, the moon is our mind. So the people are going to find the will to fight back, to take their lives back, take their rights, their God-given rights and their freedoms back. And but at the same time, this whole public health establishment, this science medical establishment, for the world and for America, these, you know, government. And really, you could look at Virgo as the 10th house, the house of government for the whole world, because the American empire was used to build an economic empire that basically crosses borders. It's really the corporations now that have all the power. You know, and countries have been made more and more meaningless. So I think this is government for the whole world too. It's not just America. So yeah, a lot of anger in the mind. Now also this Mercury retrograde is 7 degrees away. The Mercury retrograde came to Virgo several days ago, and it's on its way to conjunct with Mars and the Sun. So 7 degrees away at 26 degrees is where this Mercury retrograde is. And Mercury retrogrades, they're not disasters where everything falls apart. They're opportunities to basically check yourself before you wreck yourself. So they're opportunities to review everything Mercury has to do with and fix it and correct it. So we're talking your thinking, your intellectual process, and your communication, all forms of communication. So in this Mercury retrograde too, it's telling all of us to take another look at everything that medical science is doing, that public health is doing, and that government is doing. All the messages they're putting out, all the narratives they're putting out. It's telling us, don't take these things at face value. Look at them again and see if there's real validity to them. See if any of the information has been skewed or fudged or misrepresented, because Mercury is at home in Virgo. Virgo is the yin sign of Mercury, Gemini is the yang. So Mercury is the yin sign, Virgo is the yin sign of Mercury. It's where Mercury is strongest and most comfortable. And Virgo deals with details, with thinking, with careful communication, with sorting through the details and being methodical. And so there is no stronger Mercury, in my opinion, than a Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So it's telling you, look at the details, think again, do your own research. Just don't listen to what the political and scientific celebrities on the TV and the radio are telling you. Excuse me. So, and another thing with this new moon, so Sun, Mars, and the moon, all at 19 degrees of Virgo, they're in the constellation, the Nakshatra constellation, the lunar mansion of Hasta. So Nakshatras, if you haven't watched my videos before, they are the 27 smaller constellations that make up the 12 signs in Vedic astrology. So they're the constellations working behind the scenes and the signs. And symbol for Hasta can either be the healing hands or it can be a fist. So it's interesting because with Sun, Moon, Mars all together, it's basically even the healing hand is starting to get angry, you know. So the healing hand can be these drug companies in this case, but they're getting angry and they're having their little puppet politicians like Dementia Joe Biden they're having people like him tell the people that we're losing our patience with people who haven't gotten these shots. And you know, they're having their shitheads in the media saying that everyone without a shot should be shamed and ridiculed and left behind and told they're stupid. So it's like I said in September, that media, that government, that public health would go from being all nice and progressive and warm and cuddly to being just downright shitty and nasty and aggressive and domineering. So here it is. So now another thing, this other symbol for Hasta, the fist, you know, this is about, to me, it's fists are, you know, you can hit things with a fist, but a fist is very vulnerable because it's so rigid. The fist is a unification of the hand. Not all unity is good. Unity can be good, but unity can be very coercive. It can be coerced. People can be forced into unity, and this is very true of totalitarian governments, you know, the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, communist China, all that kind of stuff. So people in the media, you know, they're like unity, but it's not always what it's cracked up to be. So, you know, the fist is a unification of the digits, and but it's hard, it's rigid, and you know, it's kind of forced. It's not natural. This is the only thing. All you can do with a fist is really hit something, squeeze something. So I kind of see the fist, the Roman fasciae, facies, excuse me. I keep mispronouncing that, the facies. It's a the old ancient Roman symbol of fascism. It's about strength in numbers. It's an axe with a bundle of sticks tied to it, so the axe head is sticking out. And the way empires are put together is one country goes out and they either conquer or they use their economic hitmen to economically and financially overthrow and subdue another country and bring them into the empire. And once these other countries are brought into the empire, they are forced to go along and fight for the country that conquered them. So this is what people are trying to do by all the shaming and all the, bribing people with donuts and lap dances and beers and milkshakes and burgers to, get their shots. They're basically trying to bring people into this form of unity they really don't understand. So yeah, that's what I think. So this public health, so government, the public health establishment, the drug pushers, the drug companies, medical science, they're all being coercive, and they're basically trying to guilt, shame, and bribe people into this unity, and getting people to just accept this narrative of this viral epidemic and the experimental, untested, injectable gene therapy they're giving out, saying it's the only cure, the only remedy. So yeah. Now another thing going on here is that during this new moon, all the social planets, all the outer planets, we're talking Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, along with Mercury. So Mercury is a personal planet, deals with personal attributes. But these planets beyond Mars, Jupiter through Pluto, those are the social planets. They deal with society, the thinking of society, the trends of society, things that take multiple generations to unfold. They are all these social planets are in retrograde, all 5 of them. So basically what this means too is this is an opportunity. Because when planets go into retrograde, it's an opportunity to redo things, to correct things, to remake things. So this basically means that there's an opportunity to rebuild society, because there's a lot of dead wood that needs to get burned away and things need to change. So a lot of people are always, people with all the money and technology in this world that control the media are always trying to take advantage of times like this. So the ruling elite, through the media they sponsor, through the politicians that they sponsor and puppeteer, they're definitely trying to do this, and they have their own society they want to build. And we've all heard the slogan, "Build Back Better." So I'm going to show this on the screen a few times. Build back better. Build back better. You should notice something about this. It's a psyop to get people on board with this whole thing. And what's going on here is they're not only trying to get people to take these shots, and they're getting government to buy these shots and basically stiff us with the bill through our taxes, even though they tell us they're free. They're not only trying to do that, but they're trying to basically kill small business so that giant mega businesses can take over the market share. So this build back better is not better. It's basically almost trying to take us back to feudalism, to medieval feudalism, where we have no rights, where we can't travel, and we're just kind of like serfs. So people are very angry about this, and this new moon is definitely bringing that up. So yeah, the people's anger is directed at government, at public health, at the drug pushers, the pharma companies. And then last thing I want to get into with this too is, you got these yods going on. So yod is a a Western astrology concept that I've brought into Vedic. It's when planets in a given house look at other planets in other houses, 6 houses away and 8 houses away. So 6 houses from Virgo, you've got Aquarius, sign of humanity, we the people. And you got a Neptune retrograde in there at 27 degrees. So the Neptune deals with illusions, deceptions, all that kind of stuff. Neptune in retrograde tends to reveal and disclose things. So this is revealing things to the people, and it's even revealing things about themselves, but also the world they're living in and society. You know, because again, Aquarius deals with we the people, humanity, society. But this all because all these planets in Virgo are looking at this Neptune and Aquarius. It's saying that this public health establishment and government and, you know, the drug pushers, they are using deception to try to fool the people with this whole thing. And then all these planets in Virgo are looking at Aries, where Uranus retrograde is. So Uranus is the earth shaker that turns over status quos and paradigms. And, you know, Aries is the head. It's what goes on in your head. It's also leadership. So basically this is saying that their leadership style is all about shaking the earth and getting people nervous and telling people they're going to die and that it's a huge disaster and you better do what we tell you or you're going to die and your life's never going to be the same. So it's like it's messing with people's heads. So that's what they're doing, and you know, people are getting angry about this. The more they do it, the more of a tolerance people build for it. It's just like medicine. If you get too much, if you take too much of it, you get a tolerance for it. It no longer works. So all this fear-mongering through the media and through government is wearing off. So this is a blessing. And the other yod we're dealing with, we've got one coming from Aries, where this Uranus retrograde is. It's casting on Virgo and it's casting on Scorpio. So yeah, this yod, it's basically leadership again, using public health, using the drug pushers, the drug companies, using government to fuck with people's heads, to shake the earth, to make people scared so they'll go along with what they want. And then it's on Scorpio too. So Scorpio deals with conspiracies, all secret and hidden things, deep unconscious emotions, you know, sudden gains, sudden losses. It can deal with hospitalization, you know, death, all that stuff. Interesting thing about Scorpio too is that Venus and Ketu are getting ready to conjunct. So this is going to tell us a lot about the cold and flu season we're coming into. And going back to Virgo, another thing is that in years when Sun and Mars conjunct in Virgo, which they are today, it's an indicator, it's like a warning light, it's a harbinger for a tough cold and flu season. So then you have to look around at the other planets to tell you what is this cold and flu season all about. So it's like I've said in other videos, I think this Venus-Ketu conjunction in Scorpio, it speaks to people having falling outs in their relationships and their friendships and their families, because Venus is all social relationships. Ketu cuts things away. It's about losses. But I think this is also about a new STD that is going to hit the news and people are going to start talking about it. I think it's coming about because well-regarded scientists have been saying that this virus has pieces of HIV in it, and I think the shots are going to make this whole thing a lot worse. So I think that's something we're going to be dealing with here, and at first they're going to try to blame the people who don't have the shots, but that's going to fall apart. Now, another thing to inform us about this cold and flu season, you've got Saturn and Pluto in the same, together, close to each other, just like they were in 2019 in October, last time Sun and Mars met in Virgo. Saturn and Pluto were in Sagittarius last time, so this told us that this sickness, the cold and flu season of 2019, would be all about basically some sneakiness and some kind of control freakism around beliefs, because Sagittarius deals with beliefs, higher knowledge, worldviews. And K2 was with them last time, and K2 is extremism. So it was about ideological extremism was what the sickness was going to be based upon. Now Pluto and Saturn are in Capricorn. They're both retrograde. This is Saturn's home. It's the sign of government. So, and Pluto has a quality of sneakiness and deceptiveness to it. So it's telling us with this new cold and flu season health emergency, there's going to be some control freakism coming out of government and some sneakiness too with how they respond to it and deal with it. So yeah, this, like I said, this new moon I think is where their rebelliousness, their healthy rebelliousness, and really righteous indignation, the righteous indignation of good people. Once it gets going, it can't be stopped. So this is encouraging to me. So the rebellion is about to be born, but then the empire will strike back. The ruling elites are going to shit their pants big time. And they're going to lose, because really they're one-trick ponies. And at the end of the day, they can't imagine that anybody thinks differently than them. So they've underestimated all of us. So to them I say, you fucking lost, but thanks for playing. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't had a Vedic astrology reading with me, I highly recommend it. It's a good way to see your natural gifts, your hidden talents, the hidden opportunities in your life, the pitfalls. And it's a good way to gain confidence with things you intuitively knew about yourself but really weren't sure of. And it helps you to basically navigate the current times and current events. And we're definitely going into some challenging ones. I do rune readings. It's a nice mind map to see where things are open in your mind, where they're blocked. And I've got some really cool video downloads for sale, some Qigong videos. Qigong is a great mind-body practice to optimize physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So thanks a lot, and talk to you later. Have a good one.